From NAB in Las Vegas, an option for video editing in the cloud. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Kolide. Kolide sends employees important, timely, and relevant security recommendations for their Linux, Mac, and Windows devices, right inside Slack. Meet compliance objectives in a remote-first world without resorting to rigid device management. Try Kolide for 14 days free. Visit kolide.com/MacVoices to sign up today. That's KOLIDE.com/MacVoices. Enter your email when prompted to receive your free Kolide gift bundle after trial activation. Kolide.com/MacVoices. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're in the axledit booth talking to Sam, the CEO of axledit, about their video editing in the cloud platform. Sam, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
So tell me about axledit. All of a sudden it seems like video editing in the cloud has become a huge thing.
It is a huge thing, and if you look around the show, there's people like Blackmagic and Adobe that are saying edit, edit, cloud, and we're, in that sense, we're joining the chorus, but the difference is we're a pure cloud editor. What they're mostly talking about is taking legacy editing apps like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, or Avid is doing something similar with their own Nexus Edge line. They're all basically saying, take your editor, take some storage over here and use the cloud to connect it. Whereas what we're doing is actually putting your editing in the cloud. So in your browser, you have a true video editor with a timeline, with multiple tracks of audio and video, and metadata search all in the cloud.
So how are you accomplishing this? Am I uploading all my clips to you?
Well, here's the cool part. You can upload all your clips, but many of our customers don't want to do that. They may have tens or even hundreds of terabytes of media. So Axel got its start doing on-premise media management, where we actually catalog the storage that you have at your location. So what axledit can do is it can point to your on-premise storage even though all the editing is in the cloud. And so it's a kind of hybrid cloud application. You can edit as much as you want to put in the cloud, but then for the stuff that's on-premise, you can access it through your browser.
Okay, so then, forgive me, I think I'm skipping ahead, but I'll do it anyway. So when I then go to render out, I'm rendering locally?
You're actually rendering two ways. As you render just to kind of put together a preview, you're doing it in your browser. But when you do the final render to export a clip to, say, Vimeo or YouTube or to a file, that's being done in the cloud with a server provisioned at the Amazon AWS infrastructure.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And then I download the finished product.
Exactly. Or push it straight to YouTube or Vimeo or another service without coming down and back up. Because one of the goals we have is that once your media is in the cloud, you want to just be able to edit continuously there and save all those upload and download steps, which can get pretty clunky.
Yeah, there's no question. And they end up being time consuming as well as clunky.
Exactly.
Okay, so the editing itself, I mean, I'm a Final Cut guy, but I know there are plenty of Premiere people here at the show. What are you closer to, or do you have your own editing platform?
Well, philosophically, it's probably closer to Final Cut. It's not as powerful as either Final Cut or Premiere. You can think of it as a few steps up from iMovie, a few steps down from Final Cut or Premiere. That being said, it does have effects, it does have multiple tracks, audio and video. You can do L cuts, you can do volume adjustments, dissolves, color adjustments. So it's pretty powerful, but it doesn't have like the really rich set of options that you would have in a finishing editing app. But that's okay, because what our customers use it for is reviewing edits while they're in progress. So for instance, we have one customer that's doing a lot of reality footage. They shoot it in the field, they want to upload it, review it with their teammates, and of course since COVID they're all working from home or at different locations. So the only good way to bring them all together is in the cloud. It's a little bit like Google Docs for video in that sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you know what? Just because you may not be as rich an environment as those others, it's probably more than good enough for 90% of the things that people are doing out there, especially if they're going to YouTube, Facebook, or Vimeo.
Exactly, and for a finishing step, you can push to Premiere, you can push to Avid, you can push to DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut. So In fact, with Premiere, we've just completed a Premiere panel where you can take the sequence from axledit, bring it into Premiere, along with all the media, and just continue the edit where you were. So you don't even have to recreate the timeline. It basically inherits the timeline into Premiere, which is pretty cool.
That is very nice. So if this suits my working style, but I need the power of that other program, I still can do it.
Exactly. And it's just a new way, in the same way that like Google Sheets came in, didn't replace Excel at first, which was a nice place if you had a spreadsheet that you wanted to share with a few people. And then if you needed to, you bring it into Excel and do the crossing the T's and dotting the I's. This is exactly the same story, but because of bandwidth, it's now possible to do it for video.
The right tool for the right job.
Yep, exactly.
So what kind of pricing is there for this?
Well, there's a free tier where people can just sign on and try it. Somewhat limited. You can only have one collaborator besides yourself and a limited amount of material in storage. A couple of gigabytes. Wish it was terabytes. The next tier up from that is $10 a month, and that you can have more collaborators, and each of those collaborators has 25 gigabytes of storage. And then the next tier up from that is $50 a month, and that has 250 gigabytes of storage, unlimited collaborators, and things like API access, so you can do integrations with third-party software and stuff like that.
That's great. The website's where folks can go to learn more and give it a test drive for themselves.
Yes, it's www.axledit.com.
Sam, thank you so much for the time. It's great product.
My pleasure.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll have more from NAB in Las Vegas. This is MacVoices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.